Hi, everybody. Welcome to Book Club. This is a new type of online class that we haven't done before. Reading is a big part of our program here at Delphian. We love to read. We love to make readers who love to read. And we wanted to bring you guys sort of that same love of reading. We do two main types of reading here at Delphian, where students can read on their own. And then we also have reading in kind of a discussion format where we read with a group of students. So we're going to be doing a version of that. I wanted to tell you guys all about that today and kind of get you started with what we're planning to do over the next few weeks. So we're going to get into that. Let's see who we have here today. Several people are saying hello in the comment section. Hi, Alette. Hi, Aubrey. Hi, April. I feel like it's good to be back too. I'm glad you guys are back. We have a lot of participants. Let's see, we have AG, Alette, April, Aubrey, Audrey, Ava, Denali, Milo, Oliver, Ron Beer, and Sarah, and more people are coming in. So thank you guys for all coming to our book club. Yeah, so let's get into it. If you guys have any questions, you can always put them in the Q&A section. Or if you want to share anything, ask anything, tell me anything, just let me know. All right, so here we go. All right, so welcome to Book Club. The first thing that I wanted to go over with you guys is to let you know what the goals are of Book Club. First and most importantly, always, is that reading is fun. It should be fun. And I want you to have fun reading and discussing great books. If we're not having fun with reading, we're doing something wrong. So that always has to be the first goal. The second and third goals are also from talking to students over the years, talking to their families, talking to their parents, and finding out what are we most interested in as readers. And what I hear most often from young people are two things. One, or the second goal here, students often want to improve their understanding of what they're reading. So one of the goals of this book club is going to be to help you improve your understanding of what you're reading. When you understand what you're reading, you enjoy it more and you have more fun. Books that are hard to understand or you don't really get what's going on or they feel boring, it really drives your enjoyment down, makes you not want to read as much. So our second goal is we're going to get better at understanding what we read and therefore have more fun reading. And the third goal, a lot of students say that they want to get faster at reading. They want to be able to read more quickly. So we'll talk a little bit about that too. How can we read faster? I'm putting that one third though, because I actually feel that this is sort of the order of importance in reading. First, having fun reading and enjoying it, I think is the most important. Second, I think is understanding what you're reading. And I think third is learning to read quickly. These are my opinions, and your opinions might be different, but I put them in this order too, because I don't think you can really read quickly, usually, unless you're having fun and you're understanding what you're reading. I don't think you can understand what you're reading as well if you're not having fun. So I put them in this order because if you do have if you've achieved the first goal, it makes the second goal a lot more able to be done. And if you're achieving the first and second goals, then the third is a lot more able to be done. I wouldn't put them in a different order. I wouldn't try to make you read something really boring and awful and then ask that you understand it and read it quickly. We're going to try to read something that's enjoyable, a really good book, so that you can get better at understanding it and read faster. Let's see if there's any questions there already. April reads a bunch on her Kindle. That's awesome, April. Aubrey loves to read. I love that. Very good. April says she reads quickly. Awesome. Shanna's here. Hi, Shanna. We're talking about reading today, and I'll briefly recap what we've talked about. Aubrey has the third Harry Potter book with them. That is awesome. Sarah listens to audiobooks sometimes. That's really great, guys. Starting out with a group of people that already love to read, this is going to be great. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. But if you don't already love to read, well, that's okay. We're going to work on that. We're going to get better at reading in our book club here. Okay, so let's break these down a little bit. The first goal of book club: have fun reading and discussing great books. Here's the book that I've picked. And some of you may have read this already. Somebody asked if that's what they saw on the table. Yes, you did see it sitting here on the table. My first pick for our book club is Wonder. This is book Wonder by R.J. Palacio, I think is how her name is pronounced. Here's my copy that I will be reading along with you. Here's the one I have here at the school with me. And this is what it looks like for those of you at home. Wonder is the story of Augie Pullman, a 10-year-old boy who was born with a severe facial deformity. That means that even before he was born, his face did not, form in his mother's womb the normal way that most people's faces and bodies do. So that when he was born, he looked very, very different. When the book begins, he is going to school for the first time in his life, starting in the 5th grade. So I would not be surprised if some of you have already read this book. But with a lot of people that love to read, it could be hard trying to find a book that none of you have read. I've read this book before. I'm going to be reading it again with the group. If some of you have already read it, I hope that you will be willing to read it again also. It's a wonderful book. It is very special. The book is about kindness. It's about understanding other people. There's like some really great messages and some really great things to understand in this book, in addition to it just being a really good story. So that is our pick for what we're going to be reading. And we'll see if there are any questions. I think it might have frozen there for a little bit. Okay, so some of you are saying, yeah, one person is saying that there is a sequel to Wonder. Yeah, I think there's like some additional stories that came out. I haven't read those additional ones yet. You'll have to let me know if it's good. Awesome. Yeah, some of you are sharing the books that you're reading or that you have read in the past. So that's great. Oh, Milo has been reading the Hatchet series. I loved Hatchet growing up. That was one of my favorite books when I was young. Already some good questions in there. Shannon's saying I looked squished on her screen. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why it might be doing that. Anyhow, yeah. Well, we'll just have to keep on going, even if I look a little bit squished right now. All right, so yeah, we'll get back to how to get the book in a little bit. That was one question in the Q&A. Somebody was asking, how do we get this book? I will let you know. The second goal of our book club: improve our understanding of what we read. So we have some amazing courses that we do here at Delphian. One of them, or a whole series of them, come from Heron Books. And the one that I want to talk about a little bit today is called the Learning Book. I have a copy of the textbook here. This is the Learning Book. I'm glad that I think you can still see it, even though it's partially green. With our green screen here, sometimes you can't see it. But the Learning Book is a course all about how to get better at understanding what you're studying. So I felt that it is very applicable for book club to work on learning things and getting better understanding things. We're going to be going over a little bit of what this course covers so that you can learn more about the subject of learning itself. So this is, I'm going to show you a few pages from the Learning Book. This is taken from one of the chapters, and it's called The First Step. So in the Learning Book, it says, in order to learn about something, it is important to realize there is something about it you don't already know. This girl here reading about how newts can live 15 years or more. I didn't know that. I learned something new today too. People who think they already know all about something, see this woman here, she's watering this plant. She thinks she already knows all about it. She's actually not getting a very good result. That plant doesn't look very happy. So people who think they already know all about something can't really learn at all. The first step when you want to study something is find out if there is something about it that you really want to learn. So that's the first lesson. That's all we're going to cover this week. But I wanted you all to think about that idea as we start our book club. So again, just the idea being, if you already feel like you know all about something, it's probably going to be difficult to learn more in that area. This is something that we all experience one time or another, even adults. If I feel like I already know all about some subject, if I think I already know all about how to fix a car and somebody's trying to teach me something, I might not be really listening, or I might be thinking, I already know all about this, you know, and that new information isn't really going to go in. So as we talk about reading and understanding what we read and getting maybe a little bit faster at reading, let's all be in the mindset that we're going to be ready and willing to learn new things. And we're not going to go into it with the idea that we already know all about it. Because the more like open-minded we can be about learning and improving, the more we actually will. That's a good mindset to be in general for all of our education, is to be always open to new ideas, new learning, new information coming in. So that's going to be part of our second goal there. And next week, we'll talk about a little bit more learning skills that will help us with reading. So yeah, that's the learning book. And you can see these on the Heron Books website if you're interested in finding out more about them. So our third goal, to be able to learn to read more quickly. So this one, we're not going to talk about it too much today, because here's the truth. The more you enjoy what you're reading and the more you understand what you're reading, you'll kind of find yourself naturally getting faster at reading. So we often don't have to put a ton of attention on how do I read faster. That's kind of a goal that can come about by doing other parts of reading better, namely reading a lot, enjoying what we're reading, and understanding what we're reading. So one of the first steps, and another thing I wanted to talk about, is how do we get a lot of reading into our lives? Some schools and a lot of people out there will often start at too difficult of a level. I've heard of, for example, middle schools or even elementary schools sometimes teaching very difficult books to young people. They're books that have tons of terms or words that you've never heard of before, very difficult to understand. And for example, when I was younger, I went to a school where we only read 2 books in English class over the entire school year. That's not a joke. I'm not exaggerating. There was like a fall book and a spring book. And they were a little bit difficult, and we didn't get a lot of reading done that year during school. The problem, in my opinion, with this is that we get a lot more familiar with reading. We get a lot better at reading by doing a lot of it. So how do we get a lot of it done? Oftentimes, it's a good idea to find more easily read books. Be willing to read books that maybe you think are, you know, just at your grade level or even a little bit below your grade level, and read a ton. Read all kinds of books. Read from all different types of genres. Be willing to read fiction, nonfiction, everything from, you know, you could read science fiction, adventure, fantasy, books about real people, biographies. But keep it, basically, be willing to read things that are maybe seem a little bit simple or a little bit, you know, under what you think your reading level really is. And if you read a lot, you'll find yourself getting better and better at it. You'll be understanding more and more as you learn the terms and you learn things from these kind of more simple books. You'll find your understanding and your enjoyment increasing. Basically, don't, don't kill yourself off from reading by starting at books that are like at way too high of a level. They're difficult, they're harder to understand, you're not going to enjoy them as much. Instead, it's usually a good plan to read a ton of books that are simpler. So we'll keep on talking about that a little bit too as we go on. I'm going to see if there are more questions here. Yeah, a few of you are saying, I am not sure what happened with the settings in the computer. Apparently I look a little bit too thin or a little bit too squished. I'm sorry about that. We'll figure out what happened there and we'll fix that for our next webinar. Yeah, a few people are talking about the types of books that they read or like kind of what reading level they like to read at. That's awesome. I also recommend, you know, go where your interests lead you. It's totally okay to read like 100 books in one genre if that's your favorite genre. The more you enjoy reading, the better and better you're going to get at it. All right, so. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is how to get a copy of the book Wonder. So this book is, although it only came out a few years back, I think it came out in maybe 2012. I think it's only about 8 years old. Yes, so this book, it came out in 2012. It's already a little bit of what you might call like a modern classic. You know, lots of people love this book. It's taught in a lot of schools. The book is available in most libraries. So if your library is currently open, I would just try to go check it out from your local library. I know that some libraries are still not open. A lot of libraries are still closed down. Our local public library, for example, you basically have to call ahead and schedule like a time that you can go pick something up. So what you can do is you can go online and find out what your local library's current rules are, or you can find their phone number and call them. If they're open, you can just ask them if they have Wonder in stock and if you can go check it out. If they need you to come and like pick something up, you know, curbside, or if you need to kind of, you know, order it ahead, feel free to give your library a call and they can probably set that up. So yes, that would be my first advice. Try to get it from the library. If the library does not have it available, my next suggestion is the Libby app. So Libby is an app that you can get on a phone or a device like an iPad, or you can even look at the Libby app through your computer internet browser. This is what it looks like. You can basically find Libby in your app store or go to libbyapp.com in your internet browser. I'm going to leave that up for a little bit. Libby works with the library system. You have to have a library card to use Libby. But if you have a library card from your local library, you can go to this app, you can download it, you can go to this website through your internet browser, and then basically you give this app your library card information. You give it your number. Usually you might need a PIN code, like a password or something. But once you log in, the Libby app is basically everything that is digital through your library, the Libby app will have it. It basically connects you to your library through the internet. So I use the Libby app to download Kindle books or other digital books to my phone so I can read books on my phone. I will download books to my Kindle reading device through Libby. And you can also you can read the books through your computer browser if you want to. So this is just a good way to get you connected up to your library. I'm going to see really quickly if there's any questions about that. At least one viewer is saying, 2012, that's when I was born. So for me, I'm kind of going, oh, that wasn't that long ago. And some of the viewers are saying, that's my whole life. Well, still, yeah, 2012. In terms of all of the books that are out there in the world, 2012 isn't that long ago. Yeah, so Milo has some good advice. Milo says he also recommends Overdrive. Yeah, Overdrive is made by the same people that make the Libby app. They're both really good ways to get ebooks onto your phone or onto a device or through an internet browser. I think maybe of the two, Libby might be a little bit more user-friendly. It's like a little bit more, I think it's a little bit easier to use. But yeah, you can go find Libby in your app store or Overdrive. Just the words Overdrive is one word in your app store. If you find that, they're both ways to log into your library account and start downloading ebooks. So I can't 100% guarantee that your local library has Wonder as an ebook, but I think it's pretty likely. It's a pretty popular book. Something else you might run into with ebooks, sometimes more often than physical paper books from the library, is that people are checking them out at huge, very, very often, especially with over the past few months when a lot of people have been stuck at home. The number of people checking out ebooks and audiobooks from their library went way up because they were at home, they needed things to do. They started checking even more books out from the library than usual. So if you do find Wonder in your local library, I hope not, but it might be checked out, or you might need to put it on hold because there might be a lot of people in front of you. Go ahead and take a look, though, on your library's website or in the Libby app and see if you can get it. Those are my first two suggestions because they are free. If it isn't available from your local library or through your library app online, a local bookstore might have it if your local bookstores are open. I think in a lot of places, bookstores are now open. And of course, you'd have to buy it from the bookstore. The last suggestion is you could go to the Kindle store or other digital bookstores like on Amazon.com or maybe through like the Apple store. You can buy a ebook version of the book. This is probably the easiest one in terms of making sure that it's actually available. The Kindle store will definitely sell it to you because they have unlimited copies of ebooks. When I looked last, I think I looked yesterday, Wonder was $9.99 on the Kindle store. It's worth it if this is the only way that you can get a hold of it. Ask your parents, ask if you can pick up this book. It's a great book. It's about 300 pages long. I think it's a little bit more than 300 pages. So you're getting a good, a good book with a good chunk of reading for about $10. All right, let's see if there's any other questions on that. Ava asks, what if you already have a copy of the book? Well, there you go. You're good to go. You're lucky. You already have it on your shelf. I picked something that you already had available. So there you go. Alette says that her mom found it on Amazon with 1-day shipping. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, it's a good book. You won't regret it, I hope, if you end up buying it from Amazon. Number 3, a bookstore. You can go to a local bookstore or get it through Amazon, get a print version like this shipped to you. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions about any of those ways of picking up the book, just let me know. And then our week 1 assignment. Here's what I want you guys to do. I'm going to leave this slide up for a little bit as we keep on talking so you can note it down if you want to. If you can write this down on a piece of paper, make a note somewhere. If you have the physical book with you already, you could go ahead and put a bookmark there. My bookmark just fell out. It's just a sheet of paper. I want you to read through page 48 of Wonder. Read through page 48. And I don't have any additional assignment for you. You don't have to do anything else at home. I want you to read these first few chapters of the book. Wonder, something that's interesting about it is each part of it is told from one character's viewpoint. So when the book starts out, part one is told, here, I'll stop that for just a moment. I'll go back to that in a minute so everybody can write that down if they want to. But part one is told from the viewpoint of Augie. So part one, you're reading from that character's viewpoint and what they think about things. Later on in the book, when you get to part two, it changes to a different character's viewpoint. I don't think part two starts till a little bit later though. Yeah, part two isn't until page 81, so we'll get to that next week. Anyway, I wanted to divide the book into roughly, we're gonna spend a few weeks reading this book. So starting out this week, I just want you to read through page 48. Once you've read that, usually when we do like group discussion books here at the school, we usually suggest to not go on, sorry about that, until we get to it, so we can kind of talk about things as a group, and so that nobody has gone on a lot further than everybody else and already knows more things than everybody else. Of course, if you've read the whole book, you'll know more things than everybody else, but that's okay. So what our plan is read through page 48 of Wonder. Have fun reading it. You could make notes about things if you want to, not required. Any questions you have about the book as you read it, feel free to write those down and bring them next week. Next week in our book club class next Tuesday, the plan is that we're just going to talk about the book. I'll have some questions for you guys. You can ask me some questions, and I want to basically just use the Q&A box to kind of have a group discussion about the book. We'll share our ideas. We'll share what we liked about it, maybe anything that we didn't really like. And I'll ask you to think about some of the ideas, some of the messages in the book so far, and what you thought about them. I think the discussion format of something like a book club can help us kind of enjoy the book more and get more out of it, because we can really examine what do we actually think about the book. Instead of just reading the book and kind of just going straight through it, it gives us a chance to kind of slow down a little bit and actually ask ourselves, like, what do I think about what I'm reading? And then you also get to hear from other people, what do they think about what we're reading? I know from being a teacher that will do these kinds of book discussions with students, sometimes students will bring things up that never occurred to me. So you guys might have some ideas about the book that really make me go, whoa, I never thought about it like that. And I love those moments as a teacher. I think one of the things about being a teacher is being willing to learn from your students even, because you guys have great ideas. So yeah, that's the plan. We're going to read through page 48 of Wonder. You have 1 week to get there. So I hope that's enough time for everybody to read these pages, to pick up the book from any of those sources. Also, if you don't have the book available, if you're not able to get it through any of those sources, that's also fine. You can still tune in next week and participate also. We'll just kind of talk about some general ideas about the book. Maybe you've seen the movie and maybe you just want to chip in with what you thought about that. That's fine too. So yeah, we might even have new people next week who, that might be their first time watching the second book club webinar, and we'll catch those people up. We'll let them know what we're doing, and they can pick the book up and they'll just have to catch up with us for the next week after that. So I'm looking forward to this. I love reading. You guys know I also do creative writing webinars. This is the other side of the coin. I love reading great books in addition to having a lot of fun writing. So again, that the other course that we're going to talk about a little bit is the learning book. And if you want to pick that up, you can get that from heronbooks.com. They have a lot of great materials, a lot of great textbooks and courses that we use a lot of here at the school. So if you want to go study more of that course, it's a great course. You can get it from heronbooks.com. All right, so we're going to end off a little bit earlier than our normal 45-minute length that we'll be going next week, because I wanted to give all of you time to go find the book, to log into your local library, to download the Libby app and try to get it that way if you can, or maybe to go pick up the book from Amazon if that's the only way that you can get it. Whichever way you want to do it, go ahead and do that. I will stick around for just a couple of minutes in the Q&A box. So if you guys have any questions about how to get the book or anything else that I can help with, I will be here in the Q&A box for just a couple minutes to help you with that. All right. Have fun grabbing the book. Enjoy reading it, and I will see you guys next week. Well, actually, I'll see you earlier than that for the rest of my webinars this week, but I'll see you in book club next week. All right. Bye.